What if you launched a business only to realize that your first assumption about who your customer may have been was dead wrong? Well, that's where I am this week. If you're new here, my name is Mark. I'm building a company called Hashtag Hustle. This is an events company that helps build and sustain multi charity fundraising events. And my concept is to sell this to brands who are looking to partner with my company to find their ideal consumer that they can engage with and sell to and build a community around, at the same time raising money for world changing causes that their consumers want to impact. I'm documenting the entire process here on YouTube so that you can follow along with no filters and no funding. I'm utilizing Chat GPT to tell me everything that I don't know and hoping that those around me aren't lying to me about how great they think this idea is and instead validating it in real time. All right, let's talk about the first lesson that I learned this week. So, if you haven't watched so far, go back to my first video where I talk about the idea for my business and who I want to sell this to. My first consumer of this product is brands. And really, what I was thinking is that brands would want to sponsor this advertising the same way that they sponsor things like the Boston Marathon or Spartan races. Well, I talked to a corporate social responsibility manager at a large B2B brand, and she told me essentially, no, this is not something we'd be interested in. She said that because her job was all about managing the identity of the brand. So, yes, outwardly, they talk about how much their employees raise, how many volunteer hours they worked. But really, what she is there to do is to make sure that those people engage and the company engages with as well the causes that they care about. So, my value proposition of helping her employees raise more money, create more fundraisers, make a bigger impact, really wasn't what she was looking for. She did provide some valuable feedback, however, which is something I've kind of cross validated with a few other people that I've told this idea to, who have said what you really need to do is focus on smaller, direct to consumer brands, those who might not be worried as much about their image and would be much more interested on finding and growing a new consumer base. Now, pair that with the conversation that I had shortly after that with a friend in the fundraising industry who validated my assumptions here and even went one step further to say that I should create this as a consumer brand because, to quote him, nobody wants to run for Samsung. And I think that they're right. No one wants to fundraise just because a brand tells them to. They want to act because they believe in something. So, on the heels of that, I have started to create and push out hashtag hustle as a consumer brand. Now, this is very early prototype. I've got a TikTok and an Instagram and a Facebook out there for the brand. And I'm starting to slowly push out content to see if it's something that this community of people would respond to. Now, on the back end, things are moving too. I've got fundraising platforms that are willing to partner with me and provide access to their tools. The fundraising platforms that I'm choosing between have different levels of customizability and would have to do more work for some than I would have to do for others. Really, what I'm trying to build here is the best consumer experience on the platform that would work for me. So I'll throw some examples up on the screen here of what I shared with those fundraising platforms to give them an idea of how that would work. So as you can see here, it would be my company hashtag hustle managing ads that would look like this, asking people to take on a challenge in order to impact a certain cause. When you land on that website or registration page, you would provide your personal information and then choose the charity that you would want to fundraise for. And we would select some from a list that are aligned with the cause that you're trying to raise money for. Then, once you agree to participate, we would create that fundraiser for you and then manage those communications based on where you came in. So, if you came in from Facebook or TikTok or YouTube, you may get a different experience throughout, and the social sharing and calls to action and how we engage with you are going to change based on that platform that you came in on. So that's where I'm at right now, and I've learned a lot, but I'm still testing a lot of these assumptions. First of all, will brands actually pay for this? I believe that they will, especially those direct-to-consumer brands that want a low-cost, high-quality acquisition of a consumer, but I still need to validate this. Is the consumer-facing brand the right play? If I speak honestly and I speak my truth about my politics and social issues, am I going to alienate advertisers? Or is it really the only way that I can grow this brand authentically and be true to myself? And will I have enough money to sustain this to get to the point where it does grow authentically? And the last question is whether or not people will do these challenges without a nonprofit being the one asking them to do that. Again, I've validated these assumptions in the past, and I can see them in everyday life that people run for all sorts of things that are not nonprofits or take on push-up challenges for their gyms. And I have helped run these challenges that have raised millions of dollars for charities, but they were all under that nonprofit brand. If I'm changing one or more of the elements in that model that was successful in the past, is that still going to motivate people to fundraise? I don't know. So if you're building something similar, if you've launched a cause-based brand, if you just have opinions, I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments and let me know how you would validate these assumptions. What would you test? What do you care to know about? Hit the subscribe button, follow along. I'll be here next week. I'll give you the week 3 update. We'll get some more data. We'll probably fail a little bit more. That's all part of the iterative process. I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope you join me along for the ride.